Hey, we're live. Hey guys, welcome to episode 25 of the Weekly. I have no lower third, but this is Thunder E from Border because for some reason my lower thirds aren't working on Google Hangouts. But anyway, we have our usual host of characters. We apologize for skipping a week and a week before that in between there. And let us introduce the one and only Mr. Wine Bagnell from Somegadgetguy.
What up, everybody? Got a giant mug of coffee. We are so ready to do this.
All right, and next up is the one, the only, the man with the metal suit and the helmet, Mr. Black Iron underscore Man.
The metal suit is at the cleaners. The helmet got stolen.
Oh,
Hi, everyone.
poor Sam.
Damn. All right, and I'm sure Warren will be joining us at his usual appointment.
Fashionably late as always.
All right, let's get things rolling. And I forgot to even ask, do we have a uselessness for this week?
I have two
Oh.
uselessnesses of the week.
Is it the useless eye?
Yeah,
Useless
well,
eye.
we've already the uselessnesses. Yeah, I don't know, useless nye. I don't like useless nye. Anyway, so first of all, this is just a personal gripe that I have with, again, sort of agenda-based or toxic editorials from companies that, or from editorialists and blog writers that have sort of that wear their bias on their sleeve. And we've talked about sites like The Verge in the past, but I really had to throw a little stink eye at BGR over how they decided to cover the privacy concerns, because we're going to be talking about Windows 10 in a little more detail, but how they handled the privacy concerns made it out as if Microsoft was this giant evil corporation that is out there to steal all of your information and traffic in it. And I think they did a really irresponsible job of covering what I think is a very is a topic that's important to discuss: data security, privacy. You know, we have these issues with mobile devices and computing devices that we should be educating our subscribers about. But I think BGR's take on this matter was highly irresponsible and made it out as if there was something nefarious going on, when I can't for the life of me see how Windows 10 is much different than what you're interacting with when you interact with Google Now on Android or with Siri on Apple. There's a giant bucket of data that these companies collect on you, and we need to be vigilant in how that data is handled, but I don't see where any one company has been substantially better than another in safeguarding.
So what did the article say specifically? What was the main point in the article?
Well, the main point is, like, look at all these things that Microsoft is digging into your data, and isn't that evil? And here's how you can turn off everything in Windows 10. So yeah, I think it's important that you educate your consumers on how you can go through the privacy settings in your settings, the privacy menu, and disable things that you might be concerned about. But it's applying a motive, and that's where I feel that they're being irresponsible. That Microsoft's motive in doing all of this is something nefarious. So that's really what I found to be most troubling about the commentary. There are things that I disagree with Apple, but I don't apply a motive to Apple that they're trying to screw consumers. You know, I don't believe anyone at Apple has that mindset. I don't believe anyone at Microsoft is going, how can we steal more information? It's, we have a service in Cortana, so Cortana needs to have a collected bucket of data on your preferences, on your
likes. So this is based off Cortana, right?
Well, just in general, Windows 10 collects way more information on you than Windows 8 does. Or not Windows 8, but like Windows 7 did.
7. Well, but the thing is also, especially, just to cut you, sorry to cut you quickly.
No, please jump in.
Cortana, when Microsoft first announced and launched Cortana, they specifically said that it is built so you can go in and turn things off. Will not work or function as good as it should, just to let you know, you can turn everything. That's one of the first things they said when they made that announcement.
Well, wait up a second. Before you even get to that point, when you first launched Cortana, what does it ask you to do during the setup process? I'm just curious here, because maybe a lot of people who haven't updated to Windows 10 right now wouldn't understand, you know, how I won't say minimal, but how much of an issue this isn't. Because when you launch Cortana, it asks you right off the bat, like, what do you want to really track? Like, do you want Cortana to go out and get news feeds? Do you want Cortana to do this or that? And you can turn these things off. So what's the issue? What really is the issue here?
Well, it's clickbait, like Juan said.
Well, so here's if you just do the Windows 10 tag on BGR, it's the first story is Windows 10 downloads surged to nearly 27 million, so that's a pretty positive headline. Then the next one is Mozilla CEO slams Windows 10, calls it a dramatic step backwards. All right, so that's someone who has an issue that it's probably going to take a 3 extra clicks to install Firefox on Windows 10. Whatever you do, don't buy Microsoft's new $15 DVD player app. I kind of agree, but why do we need to have the headline, whatever you do, if your life depended on it? Oh my gosh. Windows 10, how to maintain your privacy without disabling its best features. That's probably a helpful article. Where is the 10 most important security settings for guarding your privacy? Stop Windows 10 spying dead in its tracks.
Well, if you go to the main page, it's on the top trending. Windows 10 is spying on almost everything you do. Here's how to opt out.
Yep. Yeah. So this is what I mean, is I think we can clearly say BGR is like The Verge is engaging in a level of clickbait and flame bait, so that they're trolling people, they're purposely writing incendiary headlines so that you will get upset and you will run to their site. They're going to laugh all the way to the bank because they've got all of this outrage traffic and tons of comments on their site. So then they can take that data and go to their advertisers and go to their sponsors and say, look, we were getting millions of hits and thousands of comments, so we're driving discussion amongst key demographics. And they're gonna laugh all the way to the bank while you angrily type out comments on their site, and they're not going to give a shit. So this is another site that I'm going to say, like, you know, if you enjoy BGR, great, I guess, cool, whatever. But this is flame bait of the highest order, and I think they're doing an irresponsible job of covering some fairly nuanced tech topics.
Okay. All right. We definitely agree. What was the second use?
Oh, the second one comes from a viewer, from a fan, from Gunnerak47 on Twitter, and this is a company. Oh wait, I have to pull the link back up. So this is a company called Gold Genie.
Oh yes, okay, I remember.
You sent that over? Yes. So I'm going to go into screen share real quick. I just got to open up the picture first. So this is Gold Genie, and what they do is they make they resell phones after they gold plate them for you, and it's really tacky in my opinion. But they did a commemorative edition HTC One M9, and when I show you this, you're going to probably throw up in your mouth a little bit. But this is the Gold Genie edition, limited edition. There are only going to be 99 of these. And this is to commemorate Cecil the Lion, for Cecil and his kingdom. And if you buy this, I think it's 1,500 British pounds sterling. Is that what? Yeah, almost 1,600 pounds.
Yeah.
Then 10% of the purchase price of this phone will go towards conservation efforts. So which one? For Friends of Juan's charity. So you
Friends of who? Your charity, man?
No, Juan.
Oh, okay. I thought you said.
I can't. So first of all, the palest dude in the podcast trying to pronounce African charity names is maybe one of the more culturally sensitive issues that we've had on the show, and maybe not the best idea. But so this is the Gold Genie. So I want to thank Gunnerak because this is one of the most tasteless commemorative items I think I've ever seen.
See, I mean, for me, it's not even that. It's more of how much you'll give it. You can make whatever you want and say you donate to charity, right? Mm-hmm. But you now tell me it's 10%. I'm kind of like.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like not only is the phone kind of tacky. I mean, the phone is kind of tacky, but that the entire holistic approach to this being a charity device at 1,600 pounds is tasteless. That it's tacky and it's tasteless.
Yeah. I mean, if they were giving 50% of that to charity, I'll go, yeah, you know, it's not bad. But
because what that's going to be what, $2,000 phone?
Yeah, pretty much, and then you give it $1,000, you know, per phone. That's good.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, it's just silly altogether. Any thoughts there, Sam?
No, it speaks for itself. It's gold-plated. Was that an M9?
Yeah, it was an M9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to point out, HTC had nothing to do with this. So
nothing to do with this.
If you want to gold-plate a phone, maybe the M9 has the most benefit from it. Yeah.
I guess I'm just kind of curious also, like, why go with the M9? If you really wanted
It's
to
probably
do...
easier to go plate.
Really? You think over an iPhone 6?
Oh, actually, that
Glass,
makes
remember?
sense.
It's glass on the iPhone 6. It's glass back.
iPhone?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not even
iPhone
that.
6
Like,
is not
it's
glass
made
back.
in one.
It
It's a
doesn't have
unibody, right?
Yeah, it's
No,
unibody.
iPhone 6 is unibody aluminum.
Okay. But
Remember, because of all the bending?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
all the
yeah,
bending?
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
bend glass.
Yeah. No,
I don't care
it's-
how strong you think you are. You can't bend glass, son. Come on, son.
no, the
Oh shit!
M9,
Brooklyn comes out.
the M9, M9, I think will probably fit best into that category. But anyway, we have Warren here. Has finally joined us. How's it going, man? All right, never mind.
All right, moving right along. But we can get into the real stories now. But I wanted to thank Gunnerak47 for sending that our way, because it was proper useless, and we always do such a terrible job of cataloging the uselessnesses that people send our way.
Yeah,
that one was beautiful, though. I had to pull that one back.
Thank you very much, Gunnar. I started off. So let's start off this week. Windows 10 launched. So want to get our thoughts on Windows 10. And Warren, do you have a mic yet? Is it working? No, not yet. His mic drivers are having issues. So let's kick things off. Start off with you, Juan, since of course you've got the least amount of experience, I'll say, since you haven't updated your system. What are your thoughts on the update, the rollout, just everything so far you've experienced?
So I've been running Windows 10 on a Lenovo Helix 2. So it's Lenovo's version of something like a Surface, and I've been running it on an Acer Iconia Tab 8. Their little 8-inch screen tablet. And on those two devices, it's been running really well. The installation was pretty terrible on the tablet. I had to go through multiple rounds of the reset, the update, roll back to Windows 8, and then just eventually wiped it all out fresh. And that seemed to work. But on the whole, this has been a pretty easy transition on the laptop. I've been reluctant to upgrade on my desktop. We'll probably talk about this a little bit more, because I think this might be what's affecting Warren, but I was a little gun-shy about some NVIDIA drivers, and I've got a really old audio interface. My sound card, external sound card, is a little older, and it doesn't even have proper Windows 8 drivers. It only has Windows 7 drivers. So again, I'm not going to push the button on my main workstation just yet, but on the whole, on the Helix, it's been bulletproof. I'm freaking loving Windows 10. It's my favorite features from Windows 8, sort of peanut butter jelly time with a more traditional Windows 7 layout. And Marie's little tablet is probably going to be up next for the upgrade, because she liked it on the Acer. Mm-hmm. So it's been not smooth sailing, but it's been one of the better operating system changes that I've seen in a while. And this new UI is pretty sweet. I like it a lot.
Okay. Still can't hear you, Warren. How about you, Sam?
Not bad, actually. I'm actually running on my main PC, which is the PC I'm on right now, and it hasn't given me any issues. The only thing is it took the longest time from all the PCs I have here. This took the longest time to update. Oh, yeah, there you are. We hear you.
Yeah, I needed all kinds of gain. All kinds.
All kinds. Yeah, so basically, no, Windows 10 so far has been pretty painful. I know people have been talking about the issues with drivers and multiple screens, but that's not a Windows 10 issue, really. That's an NVIDIA issue. Windows 10 has not been kept as a tightly closed secret for the past 12 to 18 months. So NVIDIA might have done a little more.
NVIDIA's a licensed Microsoft partner, so they have no excuses.
No excuse at all.
Yeah, so it's not really a Windows 10 issue. I think the big Windows 10 issue for me was basically just, having to figure out a few new things, right? How to use Cortana and setting Cortana up and the whole voice command thing. And we did a little experiment. Tiny little experiment with Cortana. It was actually pretty cool. And it works very well. Once you get Cortana up and running, it works very well. But the thing is, it doesn't work right off the box. So right out the box. So you have to spend some time and, do the setup, and it will work for you. Also, in Windows 8, I had specified don't search certain folders for pictures or audio or video, and Windows 10 just basically bypassed all of that and said, we'll search everything and everywhere on your computer. And that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But apart from that, it's been pretty painless.
Okay. Yeah, the Cortana setup we were talking about was training Cortana to recognize your voice. So Sam set it up, to recognize his voice whenever he says, "Hey, Cortana," and it works well. I had to actually listen to Sam say it like 4 times so I could mimic his voice.
You have to get the cadence right. That's
And
the thing.
the cadence, and I was able to unlock his system and download everything and steal all his information. And Mission Impossible was done with that. But Cortana, Windows 10 itself for me has been very painless. I've updated 7 machines, 2 of my uncles, 5 of mine. My PC here, which is running Windows 8, was the first to get updated. My Surface Pro 3 was the second, as well as my Razer gaming laptop. Surface 3, I had to do I had to use a download tool as well as the HB7, but those went pretty well and easy. I haven't had any major issues other than Mozilla. I don't know, my Mozilla on my main PC is just misbehaving. I might have to just reinstall it, which is why I have no lower third, because for some reason it won't let me continue accept, or maybe that's just a Hangout issue anyway. But in general, I've had no issues with like transitioning Windows 10. The NVIDIA driver issues, I know that pertains to if you have a 900 series or 800 series, you should be fine. Anyone with anything less than that, you might have issues with your updates to Windows 10, as Juan was telling me with Trisha, I believe. So those are some of the things to know.
Yeah, I was talking to Trisha Hirschberger a couple days ago, and so apparently she was having some just terrible issues getting her. She built up a pretty decent gaming rig, because she does a lot of Twitch streaming, and it sounds from her that it was a series of NVIDIA updates that just totally boned her update on from Windows 8 to Windows 10, and it sounds like it might be related to the fact that I think she's running a 700 series card, one of the higher end 780s, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. How about you, Warren?
Well, where do I begin with this?
Wait, what card are you using, by the way?
970.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I didn't run into any display issues. I just ran into the issue of the damn thing not wanting to upgrade, period. No matter what you did, no matter what fix, anything at all whatsoever, it would just get stuck and fail. I'm on 10 now because I was able to get a key with a clean install. So I'm able to do it that way. And I was unable to actually upgrade my desktop to Windows 10, even with the download tool, every single tool possible. And beyond the fact that their upgrade policy is we'll get into that, is crap in the way they're doing it. It's absolutely wrong, and they really need to change it around. But as far as upgrading everything else, I've upgraded a couple of Lenovo Yoga PCs, and those upgraded fine. I actually upgraded a PC. A work PC that I use, and that actually increased speeds and became better, coming from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And I was able to upgrade a tablet without any issues from Windows 8.1 with Bing to Windows 10 Home on it, and that worked out pretty well as well too. The operating system's nice. It's smooth for the most part. It definitely has done a good job in cleaning up some of the clutter. Some of the automatic things, such as the quick access thing, is stupid. I changed that within like 3 seconds. Some of the other, I like the fact that they have the high DPI. Settings are a whole lot better now, so if you have 2K or 4K displays, it doesn't look like ass. And you can't, it doesn't look like tiny dots. You can actually adjust it. It doesn't apply to everything, but it does do a good job with that. The overall look is slick. The start menu has been very good experience. Overall, it's a good operating system. I just wish Microsoft thought more on the rollout, because I'm pretty sure all they did for testing this was really probably testing this on like a Dell PC and probably their own Surface. I doubt they tested many other pieces of hardware for their rollout, especially custom-based machines, because clearly, like, I'm hearing there's threads of it on Reddit. The only time I've ever gone on Reddit in my life. And you see threads and threads of people not being able to upgrade for various other reasons, and not being able to do a clean install without upgrading first is by far the stupidest policy I've ever heard in my life when it comes to anything that comes to licensing, because it breaks it basically. So if you went out and you bought a key of Windows, you know, any type of key. Let's say you bought an OEM key of Windows, which allows you to actually install it, uninstall it anywhere you want to go, as long as you have it only on that one machine at a time. If you upgrade with 10, 10 doesn't give you a key. So if you want to switch that to some new hardware, how are you going to do that? The only way you can be able to do that is go and install 8.1 and then upgrade again, which is ass backwards. So they really need to fix the policy on that, and I hope they fix it fast, because it doesn't make sense that you just can't get a Windows 8.1 key and have it upgraded to 10, and that's your key to use 10. They instead just, you got to upgrade. It just, that was part of one of the most frustrating things I think I had with it. It's just that their licensing is just complete ass, and it doesn't make any sense. And for a company this size to put out something like that, which is already, if you've ever worked in IT and have to deal with Microsoft licensing, it already sucks enough. So it really was frustrating me quite a bit that one of the simpler parts was the consumer side, and they found a way to basically muffle that up as well too. So if you have a Windows 8.0 and you upgraded, you probably don't have a key. You should really fight with Microsoft as much as possible for them to change the policy to give everybody a damn key, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think that key policy thing comes from the fact that for some reason maybe they thought they won't have an issue, one, and also two, they didn't necessarily account for custom builders, because I'm sure this
they
problem,
didn't at all. Not all in this build.
I'm sure the problem really stands out with people who have custom built PCs, not necessarily a Dell or your HP or whichever laptop you buy or PC you buy, because even with that, you can always circumvent that through the manufacturer some form of fashion. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, Warren, what you're describing, is that really a Windows 10 issue?
Yeah, it is.
Because the licensing, yes, the licensing
is a big issue.
But the hardware part, like these other machines, this custom machine, it's really not a Windows 10 issue.
I'd be really curious to see what data they were getting from this beta program that they put out, because I can't believe that no one.
I know exactly. I would agree. What I saw from a lot of people was that their what do you call it again? The activation servers were getting hit heavy. So because even my Surface 3, the update came in and then it failed for whatever reason. So I just did use the download tool to actually upgrade it that way. So I'm not sure whether they were having activation problems, which is why it was kicking things out, and then people were stuck in different loops, left and right, or
I did Media Creator update too.
Media Creator was the most consistent way to upgrade.
Yeah.
Mind you, don't try to make a USB key out of it, because that actually doesn't work, because all you'll get is something happened. The greatest fucking error of all time. I mean, jeez. I hope they make a blue screen that just says that. But like, I feel like they did not test this on enough hardware, and especially the way they really wanted you to upgrade, which was through Windows updates. They wanted you to go through that way, which I don't know how many people actually upgraded successfully through that. The majority of it has been through the download tool, which they ended up providing later for people to be able to create their own installation media. Which I think they might have seen that they were running into probably issues with deploying the upgrade out through Windows Update, and just had that in the back end just in case. And that honestly was a good thing. It's just that they need to fix their licensing, because
we have a question here from Joseph Hampton Jr. He says, "Fellas, does Windows 10 feel like MS would take a subscription-based Office 365 or stick with licensing, or is the question too early to ask? I haven't installed Windows 10 on my system yet." No, it's not too early to ask. I've heard this from Microsoft reps as of last year. I mean, it kind of slipped out where they basically were talking about subscription-based for Windows 10. Because it looks like everything Microsoft is doing is going that route. And I see it more, if you're going to do a Windows 10 subscription, they're probably going to bundle it as one package of, you throw in a terabyte or two of OneDrive or whatever, things. And maybe
what are we talking about, a Windows 10 subscription? What do they exactly
subscribing
mean?
to Windows, so you're not going to be paying a licensing fee for it.
Yeah, I really think that all of their moves are, you will have one Microsoft account.
And that's it.
That's it.
Done.
Whatever glowing rectangle you go to, you log in. That is your Microsoft account.
Yeah. So you don't have to buy Windows 11. Now, granted, they said there's going to be no other Windows, but whatever major Windows update comes out, you're not buying it anymore.
Oh no. Essentially, at this point, the operating system is free. It's just everything else around it that they're trying to make money on. There is little to chance that I ever imagine them doing that. They will subscription everything else under the sun. Everything else from more storage, Office, maybe some synchronization features or something like that. Maybe something like a pro account, a pro Microsoft account that allows for some different things to happen for better synergy. For them charging but subscription just to get Windows on, hell no, that's never gonna happen.
I think it will. I think it will, but I don't think it's going to be
backfire. It'll backfire fast.
I think what eventually consumers will be primed for, because I mean, if you build your own system, you have to buy a license of Windows, right? So you will have to.
They can't get away from. So
Windows 10 won't be free if you are a system builder. You will have to buy a disk or media or something so that you can install a build of Windows. So what I think eventually will happen will be I mean, like, I keep going back to the movie Her. You know, you have one operating system, which we use that term kind of incorrectly because it's a collection of services that float around and follow you from screen to screen to screen. So you buy a new laptop and you just you just log in, and it's going to pull all of your information so that you can use it on that device. You pick up a phone, it's going to be tied to the exact same overall account. And so that, I think, is what's going to become a subscription. Is you can pay for different tiers. So, like, say you want the Office 365 with unlimited OneDrive and Xbox Live Gold tier. That'll be one tier of operating system that follows you around. So that's what I think they're building towards. I just don't think it's going to come for probably another 3 or 4 years.
The services will be there, but of them actually charging a subscription service for the base operating system and stuff, hell no. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, I agree, Warren. Services, yes. The operating system itself, no.
It's free at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think they're making a distinction. I think everything will be considered services at some point. So they're not going to say Windows is this and Office is that. It's basically just going to be, what level of Microsoft customer are you?
Exactly. Their current licensing structure doesn't even allow that to actually even happen, and there's no way that they can even dig into that to make that happen.
But they are going away from their current licensing structures. 365 already proves they are going away.
And 365 proves that they're going away. But it didn't. It proves that they're also trying to maintain what is the same, because you can still see.
You
can't change everything all at once. But we can see obvious trends that they're building towards something else, and that's why I'm saying in the next 3 to 5 years we'll probably be talking about Microsoft accounts and not, do you have the latest update to Windows? Why they're saying there's not going to be a Windows 11. You know, that's what I think they're building.
I mean, when the company comes out and said there is no, this is the last version of Windows, they're telling you that you will be subscribing to a Microsoft-based system.
Last version of Windows.
Yeah. So I mean,
put that in quotations until they need to market something, and all of a sudden the next update's called Windows 11, just so everybody updates.
It's not. It's this version of Windows is going to last long enough where you don't have to actually be doing that. And as long as they can get themselves to that position where, like Juan says, you have a Microsoft account where you have tiers where, yes, you always get the OS free, but as a system builder, you still have to buy it. So those are the different things you
explain how that's gonna work when people are buying tablets and laptops for the first time, that they're gonna have to sit there and buy a license to actually use their PC.
It's gonna work the same way as Office 365. You can download a basic version of it for free.
Manufacturers aren't gonna go
and then
for
if
it.
you
It's
want to
not
be
gonna
able
work.
to edit documents and upload files to OneDrive, you pay a subscription. It's the same thing.
For an operating system, it just seems as though it's such a gateway to all the other services that you don't want to impede it by.
And mind you, in the end of the day, truthfully, they would get sued for that, because essentially they would be blocking other services that require Windows for use. So how are you going to charge somebody for the OS?
How are you going to charge somebody
for? Are you going to charge somebody for the OS?
You can always get other services. You know that, right? On Windows.
Yeah, but no, I can't get other services if I don't buy a Microsoft license according to your licensing agreement.
No,
it doesn't.
I don't know where you got to that
Yeah,
point.
that's-
That
yeah.
was maybe one of the best non sequiturs we've ever had on this show.
No, it's actually very simple. If I sit here and I don't have a Microsoft account, but I want to use, let's say I want to use a different software or something different, where I don't want to be tied into Microsoft's ecosystem.
If you don't have a Microsoft Update Support account, I mean, this is all hypothetical, but you'd still be able to install Dropbox. You'd still be able to install.
No, I can't because I don't have an operating system. Under that license, like I don't have an operating system.
No. So all of this being, you know, the operating system coming for free is the same as you being able to go and get Office for free. So you would still have an operating system for free on whatever device it comes with, and it's probably going to come with like a year of free support, and then they'll probably throw you some update saying, hey, if you don't have this tier, this very basic tier of support, then maybe you don't get updates, or maybe you don't get bug fixes, or maybe you don't get something like that. I don't know, because
but I think what you're saying is basically this.
And I'm not Microsoft, but
It's called
the whole
freemium.
point that we're building towards is we already see trends where we get certain levels of things for free, like Office 365 and OneDrive, and then you pay a subscription fee if you want expanded features on top of that. And I could totally see where the future of Windows is probably going to head into a similar direction.
No, but I think I think I get what you're trying to say. Basically, we all get Windows 10 Home Basic, right? And
If you buy a Windows device, you do. If you build your own system, there's probably going to be some other tier for buying a system builder version of Windows.
Windows Pro XT/STS. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
All right. That might be what they do. That I can definitely see them doing that if Windows 10 Home Basic is a perfectly workable operating system.
Which, I mean, like, if we're looking at what they're putting out on tablets, I don't see where that's a destructive commentary on the marketplace right now. But like, let's say you wanted expanded networking features so that every single item that you have is properly tied to OneDrive, and that all of your apps follow you to different devices. That could be a tier of service that they charge a subscription for. If you want your phone to just be a standalone island and not talk to any other gadget in your gadget ecosystem, then yeah, you got that for free. Kudos. You know, so I mean, there's plenty of room to build into Windows as a service, which is what Nadella has been talking about since he jumped on board. And then that way we can start moving more towards Microsoft accounts, cloud accounts, and computing that follows you, more like what we've seen in science fiction. But this is all still speculative because we're still just going through the teething pains of installing Windows 10 on all of our various devices.
Very true. Another question from... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I don't get that question from Billy Trey. Go ahead.
Billy Trey, do you find it annoying that Windows is always pushing Xbox? Could you explain, are you talking about the fact that Windows 10 is coming to Xbox, or Xbox Now, the new Xbox app on Windows 10? Because those are the only two Xbox things that... Or
the fact that Microsoft owns both of them, so it's not really pushing it rather than expanding the ecosystem?
I don't know. I mean, like, for you know, the kind of tribalism we get into with gaming, if you had a Windows 10 computer and you were a Sony PlayStation kid, I could see where just having something pre-installed. It's just like the same thing when we complain about bloat on Samsung devices. You know, like maybe that would bug you. I don't know. Billy, drop us another comment so we can elaborate.
Yeah, we can
move on to another topic.
Yeah, I mean, just because having, you know, the ability to stream your games from your Xbox, your Windows PC, and eventually vice versa onto Microsoft, and hopefully remotely, to me makes more sense for a company that owns both, gaming system and operating system. But we will move on. Next up, Samsung. Samsung is going to be announcing the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus this Thursday, I believe, right? Yeah. Thursday. So, thoughts. The Note 5, we've seen leaks of the device. It looks like it may not have a micro SD card, although this morning it is said that the international version with dual SIM will have micro SD cards. So we still don't necessarily know if it doesn't or it doesn't, but it looks like we're set on a non-removable battery at 3300 milliamp. So, just any thoughts on what you've seen so far on the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus?
So I'll go first. It's I would actually be surprised at this point if the Note 5 came with an SD card, because I thought the reason why Samsung was moving away from that was because of their what is that called? Their formatting structure for the built-in flash storage that they're using isn't necessarily compatible or easily made compatible with FAT file systems. So that is a little disappointing, but maybe we can see Samsung do something super special with the Note where they started off at 64 gigabytes of built-in storage. I don't know. I mean, playing with the S6 and the S6 Active, 32 is already starting to get a little lean if you're one of those people like me who start jumping in on the camera. So we took a bunch of Galaxy S6 Actives out to a water park, and I had 20 gig free storage, and at the end of the day, I was down to 2. So I use that camera a lot. It's rough when you're shooting 60 frame per second 1080p or UHD video, and UHD video is something like a gig per 2 minutes of video.
Yeah.
So that will be a little disappointing, but I think the thing that's troubling me the most with the Note is the idea of them keeping the battery size either the same, because I've heard rumors that it could also be a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and if they reduce the battery size from the previous Note, I know there are a lot of Samsung fans that are going to disagree with me on this, but efficiency does not completely replace a larger battery. And the Galaxy S6 Active is an amazing example of that, because the 3500 milliamp hour battery in the Galaxy S6 Active gives me almost 2-day runtime. That's phenomenal without having to use power saver, because I think that's a cop-out. I don't want to wreck my phone performance just so I can save a couple hours on the battery. I want the full power of the device when I fire it up. That's why I bought the phone. So I would be a little disappointed if for the Note they fell for the trap of trying to make it thinner, trying to make it sleeker, trying to make it sexier, when the Note isn't an all-rounder. The Note is a productivity monster, and we should expect the ability to use the full power of that device whenever we want for as long as we possibly can. So
what's the current battery size on the Note 4?
I thought it was 32.
Okay.
33.
It's 33 on the Note 5? I mean the Note 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, so it's 32, 33. So
3220.
Okay.
3220. So the Note 5, the Exynos might be more power efficient. I'm sure there are some improvements there. It's a beast of an SoC, but when you actually use it, it is a more powerful chipset. It does have a bigger screen. I would like to see a Note 5 that has the same sort of battery bump that we saw with the Active. And the Active isn't that much bigger than the regular S6. It's about the same size as the S6 in a bumper case. So you gave me substantially more battery by the trade-off being like 2 millimeters of extra girth. Not even that much. It's like a millimeter of extra girth.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my cranky rant on it. I'm sure Samsung will deliver again one of the most popular Android smartphones of the year, but I don't like this direction.
So for you would be fine if the battery is 34, 35.
I would want the Note battery to be around 35 because 35. It's also the bigger screen. It is a more powerful device than the Note 4 was. I get a little nervous, and my experiences on the regular Galaxy S6 have not been great.
Okay, cool.
In terms of battery life, definitely, it might be more powerful chipset and more efficiency, but the S6 battery life proves that talks a different game, considering that we don't see that efficiency because it has a smaller battery and it's such
sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off, Warren. It's I think that's also one of the reasons why the Galaxy S6 has such terrible multitasking performance. Mm-hmm. This is my hypothesis. I don't really have a lot of data to corroborate this, but you put in a smaller battery in the S6 than you did in the S5 with a more powerful chipset. So one of the trade-offs, I think, was they destroyed background apps running on that phone. Every time you exit out of an app, not if you exit, if you just go to another app, that phone ejects programs from RAM hyper aggressively. And I think that's one of the reasons why they can claim a certain tier of battery performance, but every time you go back in to load that app, it's basically starting the app from scratch. Which makes the phone feel like it's struggling. I did a showdown between the Galaxy S6 and the Moto X, the 2014 Moto X, and the Moto X just obliterated the Galaxy S6 in multitasking. So I would run through 6 apps and then I would run through them again, and it took the Galaxy S6 twice as long to run through this list of apps than it took the Moto X to fire up these services. And I think that's because of the battery. I really do think that Samsung is being super conservative with how that phone performs because of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll see that when my eventual final S6 review will finally make its way on the internet somewhere, sometime. I promise before the Note 5 comes out, folks, it will actually appear on the internet. Because I actually spent some extensive time with it, and one of the things, I guess I'm spoiling this a little bit, is I almost couldn't wait to get out of the. I felt trapped in that thing because of exactly what I was bringing it up. It's like multitasking is literally an impossible thing to do on there.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with how the battery and the processor kind of work together in the software. Whatever they did to update the software, where people were complaining about background apps and extra tasks working, they essentially put their own hyper-aggressive task killer inside of it that causes it to. It does. I think it does more of a tombstoning of an app instead of letting the app just kind of run freely behind itself.
Just to add to, I think it's also Android 5.02. On the Galaxy S6 is terrible.
So my initial hypothesis was the combo of TouchWiz and Android 5, but we're seeing the same performance on updated Galaxy S6s with 5.1.
Okay.
So some of those early updates haven't solved the problem. So I actually can't lay this on Google's feet, and no other phone performs this way. Again, the Moto X is a year old with it's a Qualcomm 801 and 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it's not even like it beats it. It's you can replicate this same performance. Do the test yourself. Pick 6 apps that are the same. Don't use like Samsung's calendar versus Google Calendar on the Moto X. I did Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Marvel Future Fight, and a Dots game. You know, like, so they were the same apps, same services. Make sure your phones are running kind of the same, and just open 6 apps, and then
make sure you
open
have
6
an egg
apps.
to cook it on the S6 on the side. Make sure you have an egg so you can fry it up, because that's how hot the S6 is going to get when you run those 6 applications.
But it's like the Samsung will not hold. So the trigger was always Future Fight too. So like the Moto X with 2 gigabytes of RAM could hold a pretty aggressive game in RAM while you loaded 5 other apps. The S6 would instantly bump it out of RAM, and it would have to start the game fresh every single time. It's so frustrating.
Okay. Sam, any thoughts?
Well, I shouldn't even get to my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're talking about
totally my bad. I totally apologize for that.
We're talking about the Note 5 here, which non-removable battery. I'm okay with that. That's. I'm not gonna cry about that too much. It's not like I swap my battery out that often, anyways. On batteries that I can swap out batteries with to begin with. It's not like not like here in America, where like in other countries where they actually give you an extra battery with the package, and when you sell it. We don't get that here. In a lot of other countries, they get the extra battery, an external battery charger, all the extra stuff with it. We don't get that here necessarily, including when we buy a phone. So, my concern would be on the storage side of things. If this thing needs to have 2 storage sizes, and it has 64 and 128. If I see anything less than that without an SD card, they have failed the Note fans, big time. Especially because it is a powerhouse of phone. Anybody that has a Note, they do everything with their phone. They're social media. They do a ton of social media. They do a ton of picture taking, a ton of video. They watch a lot of content. Now, they may be streaming a whole lot more often now than before, so they might not be dropping as much on there. But the biggest thing is picture taking and video. That's like the 2 biggest things. And the fact is like when I was using the S6, I mean, it was very, very easy to run out of storage relatively fast. I mean, there's other, obviously, you have micro duo SDs and things of that nature to kind of transfer content off of it, but it's just difficult to deal with when you're on the go and you only have 20 gigabytes or so of space to actually work with versus having that SD card where you can dedicate everything to and have it all right there. It's just, they really hopefully will keep the SD card. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be a Note. It's going to be a Note. It's going to probably, improve a little bit before, like the Note 3 to Note 4. It's a little bit of an improvement. Note 4 to Note 5 would probably have its improvements as well too. Probably the majority of the thing that most Note fans are going to care about is just having a nicer construction to it, and that's probably about the only thing that we're looking for in terms of true improvement to the thing. But if they don't keep that SD card and they start off and I hear 32 gigabytes, they have failed every Note user at that point.
What do you think? sorry to jump in, Warren. What do you think would be nicer construction? Because I still think the Note 4 is maybe one of the most corporate, beautifully designed phones I've.
Yeah, no, I like using it. It's really nice, and I think it's a beautifully designed phone. But I can't deny it and sit here and say the S6 isn't the best phone Samsung's ever designed. It is a really nice phone. When you pick it up, it feels good, and it feels premium. It feels like a kick-ass phone. It feels better than the Note 4 from a material standpoint. So I do think that that's something that having that, I think it would have been more important for them to put the glass and metal in this phone than they would in this phone. So I think putting it in this gives that premium feel, gives that people that buy this want to feel elite. They want to feel I am better than you, and that's what they want to have in their phone. Like you walk around with it, you walk around with a Note. It's like there's a sense of pride amongst Note fans when they walk around with a Note. So it needs to be that top tier phone. So, he knows what I'm talking about, and so does Sam as well too. It's like walk around with, I got my Note, puny phone. No. This I don't puny phone. You walk around with like I am God of phone, literally, like Note 4 Master Race,
For life, yo.
Exactly. So I mean, everything else, I mean. Good quality cameras. The things that the incremental updates that they make in each and every one of these phones. We know they'll make some improvements and things will look slightly better than they were before, but I think it's what we're more concerned about is what they not going to include versus what they are going to include.
All right. So, how about you, Sam?
Well, I think the battery issue is going to be a big thing. Everybody realizes that. But at the end of the day, I think it really is going to be how much Samsung can get on its way with the UI. If they can make it clean and just better than what they have currently, more like Lollipop, more like just base Android, I think it's actually going to be a winner. The stylus, for me, I actually use the stylus a lot, is also going to be a big deal. If they can make that stylus any more functional than it already is, then hey, it's a winner. It's a winner from my standpoint. An increase in RAM is definitely going to be welcomed, but overall, it's going to be. We all know it's going to be an incremental change. So I would say the biggest issue is going to be battery. As a Note fan, the camera from the Note 5 was so impressive that if they do anything to screw that up, would actually piss each and every single one of us. So the best they could do, or should I say, the least they could do, is keep it the same. And if they could make it better, that would be winner. These guys, they did such a great job with the Note 5. I mean, with the Note 4, coming out with the Note 5, they have a little bit of high hopes. A lot of people have high hopes because they've done such a great job before, and hoping that 5 is just an improvement on an already great device. That's basically my take on it.
All right. Well, for me, I want a 4K display, but we're not gonna get that.
4K air day.
Exactly. But I mean, I'm fine with the non-removable battery. I'm week 1, 3,500 milliamps. I'm cool. If they can somehow do 4,000, I mean, it'd be thicker, but whatever, man. That would just be supreme. That would be on point. The SD card thing, I don't care anymore. And I agree to Warren's point of starting at 64, but I also don't care because I delete pictures very quickly, so I really don't care. But I understand that for most consumers, starting at 64 would be great, and it would be a great way to just also change the narrative. In the sense of saying, look, you get the Note 5 at $299, 64 gigabytes straight up, and the next one is 128, just done. It's a very nice, simple narrative of making that also a different class above the S line. You're just saying, look, we are big boys, we start here. The S is for you all want something nice and cool. That's over there too. So I understand that part with it. In terms of the S Pen, I like using it, but seriously, since you have that deal with Microsoft, ditch your program and use OneNote. Just call it a day. Just call it a day, and I would be very happy because then I would truly have everything synced around all my devices. But I know that's not going to happen. But
Oh, well, I mean, you can already use a stylus with one.
I know you can, but I'm just saying that when I pull out when you pull out the S Pen, the window just opens up. Like I want to have that, or at least I want
You want to be able to customize what opens when you pull
exactly.
the
Yeah.
S-Pen.
And then in terms of just design language, it's fine. The nice incremental updates. Hopefully they improve the camera a little bit more than what we saw in the S6. But I think we will like what we see. I think we're just afraid of how much we might lose or gain in different departments. That's just what we're hanging on. Everybody has the general consensus that the Note line will be good, but it's just, are we going to lose more battery? Are we going to lose the SD card? Are we going to get more battery? That kind of thing. So I think that's where we stand with that device.
My fear is of this because the one thing you notice we didn't talk about, there is another phone that's going to show up. There is the S6 Edge Plus. We tend to forget that is going to be there, and I do not want to walk out of that event liking that phone better. I really don't want to walk out of that event.
I'm just kind of confused why we're calling this the S6 Edge Plus instead of the Note Edge. I don't know why they made that.
Because it's for the folks that want the iPhone 6 Plus. Relatively simple.
Yeah, I mean I think for them the Note Edge was nice, but didn't have the impact it should have compared to say the S6 Edge. The S6 Edge actually sold well, and it looks like people want that bigger size. So it's something where I wish they had released this maybe in June instead, rather than combined with the Note 5. Just was my own thought process with that one.
I also think these curved displays, I think it's just from a cost perspective. They knew the next thing that they were going to have to do with the Note is bring that edge to both sides of it, and the way they have it's bowed like that, I don't think they can effectively do that well at a cost point. And because I'm pretty sure that's what we were all looking forward to, the next Note 5 being. It's like, oh man, it's going to be that with the displays on both sides and laser shooting out of it. It's like, oh, shit. We was like, oh man, this is about to be.
All right. Onto another company that we know just hasn't been doing well, HTC.
Can we skip this?
I feel we just collectively bummed out just by mentioning HTC.
All right, let's make it quick and as painless as possible. HTC's eyeing cuts as the company looks to find a way back to profitability, and most likely whenever a company says this, they're looking to cut employees, which is always a sad thing. But I just think the company needs to sit down and realize what are they in the smartphone business for? Like, what do they need to actually do? Because to me, it seems like, with the kind of press they got from the M9, the favorable press, mind you, by the way, they still had a product that just wasn't ready for the consumers, or consumers just didn't like. So I think the problem with that was it was favorable press that was a little more favorable than it should have been, and I think consumers saw through that. The M9, while it was a good device, was not necessarily it shouldn't have got as high of the praise that it did, because it was truthfully just, let's bust out the copy machine, let's put out what we put out the year before and get a little worse camera. I mean, that's what they did. And, we sat, me and you sat in that meeting when they introduced the One M9, and we both had the same looks on our face. Like, you've got to be kidding me. and it was just like, and I think a lot of the news and media who are a little more, they're a little more tech generalists,
anti-Samsung, because they're kicking, the favorite fruit's ass, so to speak, so in the smartphone game. So I think they like to favor HTC a little bit more, but I don't think they did HTC any favors by not telling them the truth, which was they put out the same product. No one could tell the difference, literally couldn't. And really, what was the differentiating factor? Oh, it has a 20 megapixel camera. I said, okay, how's the camera? This is worse than my previous phone. I can record. Oh, I can record in 4K, but I can't actually view it on my screen.
Any thoughts, Juan? Let's make this quick.
So this is what's frustrating, is HTC started to find some success when they streamlined their build on the M7. why they strayed from that, why they started getting more desperate, why we've been complaining about the variety of phones that they've been putting out, not focusing on their sort of core markets. Okay, I mean, like, cool. HTC, you were one of my faves. I want to see you get back into some really high focus on what's going on, but I think this notion of because part of the thing they're talking about is that they're not going to do any budget phones. They're only going to focus on high-end devices, and that's what their focus is going to be. And I think they're going to get wrecked because I don't think that they've been able to maintain the momentum that they had with the M7 and the M8.
They are
The
2
M9
generations
through-
behind.
Well,
Yeah.
Just to a degree, I mean, it's difficult to say because I think they're still the best company for focusing on things like audio. So, you know, you compare the speaker output and the headphone jack output on an M9 versus a Galaxy S6 or the S6 Active or a phone like that, and it's gonna destroy it. It's hard to quantify some of the benefits. It's harder to quantify the benefits of an HTC than it is a Samsung, because then you pull up the camera and the Samsung's just going to stomp the M9 when it comes to camera performance. So, but focusing on what works for the company and then building on top of that, they've had issues. And it's going to take another 2 flagship phones before we take them seriously again. This is what sucks about the tech market. You fumble once, and it's going to take 3 to 5 years to recover from that. And not having any game at the low end means that new consumers have no interaction with your brand.
Yeah.
This is what's totally saving Motorola right now, is that you've got generations of smartphone consumers coming up who might only be able to throw $200 at a smartphone, and they're getting an excellent experience on Moto E's and Moto G's. They are going to be far more likely to be repeat consumers when they can step up to a mid-range phone or to a high-end phone. And HTC has no goodwill in that market.
I think HTC strategy kind of. I think one thing that didn't work out for them, and this was an event that we went to, and I think this strategy is what they were thinking and did not, and because it didn't pan out. I think it's essentially we're seeing how it's kind of screwed them. I think their plan was really was for the 8X and the 8S to be really successful phone for them for Windows Phone, and I think because that didn't necessarily succeed the way it should have, I think they wanted to kind of diversify the portfolio where they didn't rely on Android so much because they were getting their butt kicked in that department, and it was going to be very hard to build within there. But if they could have had success with Windows Phone or something, it would have allowed the two to balance itself out. They would have had a better leg to stand on. And I think because Windows Phone just flat out didn't work out on the market, they got stuck having to funnel everything through Android. And that competition, they were already if you think about it, at that point they were not out of it, but they were already kind of in the third or fourth place in the mindset there, and it had already kind of piled up at that point. It was. I felt that when they were making that deal with Microsoft, it was the idea that we were going to really almost half put our efforts into Windows Phone and half put our efforts into Android. And
but you know what that deal also included? You keep making those Windows phones. How many did they make? One more. That was it. You know, Microsoft actually give but it's not even just didn't sell. They didn't put any effort into it. Microsoft basically gifted them Windows Phone because all they've released are all mid-range devices in there. Like they didn't even just decide, you know what? Let's take the M9, maybe try and improve the camera, or get the Nokia guys to help us with this. I'm not saying they have to change the camera and drop one on Windows Phone. You know, do something. You have to do something.
We got a 1M8. We got a 1M8 that was a Windows phone. HTC with 1M8 with Windows, whatever the hell it was called.
Well, and don't forget they actually did some experimental stuff like the HTC Surround.
Oh, Surround was years ago, though.
Yeah, that was years ago.
But I'm saying it was a Windows phone.
Yeah, we're talking about
Microsoft for a while. I'm not going to lay that on HTC.
Well, no. Well,
the reason
I
I
think what
like
the
that on
problem
HTC
is here is for the first time we're beginning to see an Android Titan in decline. You know, HTC was the Android Titan before Samsung, before LG showed up. HTC was that Titan.
It was the Motorola Droid, and it was the HTC line of was it the Evo?
No, it was the HTC.
Well, there was the Evo for Sprint.
It was the Evo. But you see, that's the problem, right? Android opened up the market to where you can focus on hardware, focus on making good hardware, and then also focus on making Android a more user-friendly experience. But as Android has become more user-friendly on its base OS, HTC hasn't really done much in the hardware department. They still have this mentality that if we take the M9 and make little adjustments and take it to Windows Phone and make little adjustments and take it here, then we're making an actual product. But no, that's what you do when you have, service providers selling your phone. You're HTC. You're selling your own damn phone. Start thinking like a phone manufacturer and not like an OEM. And they just.
Well, that's what they are. You got to remember that's what they came from. That's their culture. Like you can only change your stripes for so much, but that's what they were.
Yeah.
I think I guess to end this here, the biggest thing I could say is that they should have never have gone away from how innovative they were with the Evo line.
Oh.
For some reason, for whatever, they have never been as smart or as intuitive as they were with the Evo line as they were with all the rest of the lines. The One line, which has been around now for a while. If you think about it, we go all the way back to the One X. They've never really achieved that same level of critical acclaim and even commercial success, even though it was really just only on Sprint, that they haven't been able to achieve the same thing on other phones, unfortunately.
Yep. All right. Let's end HTC right there, and that's all we have for tech. Because
no, that can be all we have.
Oh wait. There's one thing we did get a comment on YouTube from. I wanted to pull this back to wrap up tech from Toy Brown Jr. His uselessness of the week: the OnePlus 2, no NFC for the flagship.
Oh my god! Can I get my OnePlus 2 ranting? Oh my god!
So yeah, I'd be curious to hear what your guys' thoughts were on the OnePlus 2.
We didn't even talk about it. Just thought about it. We didn't even mention it. We should talk about that.
We'll do another quick round robin, not like we did with HTC. Like
let's make it quick.
Well, no, there's another tech topic. Maybe we should do another tech topic before we jump to that before we round up, because there's major news that we had last time. I mean, I shouldn't say major news, but we had a discussion last time about these automakers and the recall when it came to Jeep, right? Now, did you see the hacking? You see the hacking of the Tesla, and you see what Tesla's response was?
I didn't see what Tesla's response was.
Firmware updates. End of story.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It took them literally 48 hours to solve a problem that Chrysler has to basically do a full-blown recall. And
well, suits, genius. That's why that works. That's why that happens. Suits, one genius.
Let's just call it what it is, right? The honest truth is that every single car needs to have a GSM, or at least a radio there, a cellular radio in the car, so you can actually do that. That's just it. It really is.
But that's the thing they do. No. The Jeep hack was by hacking OnStar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but OnStar.
OnStar goes through GPS data to.
No. But it essentially though the thing that really weirded out people on that Jeep hack was that every car that they could hack had its own IP address that this person could just pull up on a laptop. And like, oh look, there's a Jeep driving over there, there's a Chrysler driving over there, like all across the country. They were all connected, so they have the hardware in the cars to already send a data signal. That's not new. But apparently however they're implementing the software features on this car, they can't just update like a Tesla. They actually need you to come in and maybe they'll put a DVD in your car and load new software.
But you also know the other thing too is that Tesla is a closed system and the other car companies in terms of electronics are not. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, they're probably having to license a bunch of other
Tesla is like a Mac. Software. I mean, they don't. I mean, when you buy a Tesla, you can't even have custom speakers, which is one of the things I don't like about the car because the audio sucks. The speakers in the car are Tesla made, and so everything is closed in Tesla, which is why it makes it easier for them. So on that point, but quickly back to OnePlus 2. I'll start it off quickly. OnePlus 2 came up with a lot of hype on Monday, Tuesday. Motorola said, "Go and sit down, boy."
Pretty much. Damn, you took my answer.
All right, OnePlus 2. We're gonna take away features, hype it up, make you watch some horrible VR conferences. We don't even like going to press conferences and watching this stuff. So why would you subject anybody to having to put on headgear to watch this? It's beyond me. But they put it out. Yeah, here's OnePlus 2. We're not gonna upgrade the display, but we're gonna call it the flagship killer. What? We're not gonna include NFC.
Flagship killer.
We're not an NFC. We are not going to NFC, but we're still calling us the flagship killer. We're actually charging more than we did when we originally put the first OnePlus One out. And obviously now the OnePlus One is cheaper, but originally when they first priced it, we're going to call it flagship killer. But our phone isn't better than our original flagship killer.
Wait. It's got a fingerprint sensor.
Yeah, that worked off HTC too, didn't it? Yeah. And Moto came by and they say. With the bitch slap.
You know what? I think my thoughts on
like
this.
That Batman and Robin slap.
I think we would all be. I think we would all be kinder if they weren't trying to be so bombastic with their hype.
Yep.
And the invite system sucks.
That's it.
Yeah.
It sucks. Invite system sucks.
Oh yeah. Well, and I kind of refuse to cover it until it's sort of equally accessible to consumers, just like any other phone would be. And so I waited so long on the invite system for the OnePlus One, I never got around to reviewing the OnePlus One.
I eventually did and regretted it, but anyway.
I value things like good support. I value things like build quality, QA, consistency of build and design, and I just don't trust that I'm going to get that on the OnePlus 2.
Yeah. Sam?
I didn't get my any real hands on the OnePlus One, and I haven't even seen the OnePlus 2. And the funny thing is, once I heard there was no NFC, and my brain just said, "Don't even bother." Like, why would you have a phone? Yeah, why would you have a phone in this day and age when everybody's moving towards mobile payments? When that's the big movement from Apple, Android, PayPal, everyone is going for mobile payment. And you make the one device that everyone's going to use as that, that, I would say, interaction with mobile payments, not have NFC.
Well, my favorite thing is the reply to that. Did you see the CEO's reply where we're calling the OnePlus 2 a 2016 flagship killer? So the OnePlus 2 is supposedly going to take on phones next year.
Ooh.
And his reply to the NFC thing was, well, we really feel that mobile payments is something that's going to be taking off next year. So we didn't feel like we needed to include it in our phone, which we're calling the 2016 flagship killer.
Yeah, something about the messaging that really screwed up. Huh?
They're not. Their PR has always been terrible.
Yeah.
They're not on point, and I don't believe that they can continue to succeed on the goodwill of people that love to hack up their phones on XDA. I don't think that's enough to keep the company going.
Yeah.
This was all for. I think they made these cuts. Honestly, it's a way to mask the fact that they're trying to make money off hardware for a change. And that's what it really was.
No, cutting out NFC is not a cut that actually gives you any kind of profit in this day and age.
Oh, I didn't say it was smart cuts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I would have been more
adding fingerprint sensor is actually decreasing your profits.
Exactly. Cut out fingerprint sensors, add NFC.
And they're spending more to go with the 810. The Qualcomm 810.
Yeah.
Instead of an 808 or something like that.
And
I don't understand
what everyone is having issues with. So it's like the decisions these guys are making. It's just
well, they're going with the 810 version 2.1. It's slightly, but
we'll see. We'll see if that's any much better. I'm reserving judgment until some of those phones actually hit the market. But there's no reason to not throw the 808 in there and save some cash.
Yeah. Well, that's that on tech. Quickly on entertainment, has anyone seen Fantastic Four?
No.
Why would I see that?
Warren said it kind of best.
I think I called that a long time ago. It's my Fox. Like, I'm good at this.
Well, it's the turmoil, that movie. I'll just give you guys a brief history of what's happening with Fantastic Four. They hired Josh Trank, who made I forgot that name of the movie, the one with the camera about the boy that had powers, to do Fantastic Four.
Chronicle,
yes. Yeah, so he's the one who's supposed to do Fantastic Four. Stein, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, all those people. There was a big rumbling on set that supposedly his apartment in New Orleans, he did something, it was completely trash. They came in, supposedly changed directors, or at least they changed directors during editing, so he didn't edit the rest of the movie. Movie comes out, and when you watch, I'll just put it this way, you watch Fantastic Four, the movie starts off very well, and you're going, okay, they're trying to build a family dynamic in this. And then somewhere in the movie, you just don't know what happened. I swear to God, I don't know, maybe I closed my eyes for a second, or
I made the mistake of blinking 3/4 of the way through the film and ended up in...
I have no idea, because this is going to go back to you, Sam. Remember how we had the argument about having Michael B. Jordan, like, you know, as Johnny Storm, right?
Yeah.
And I said I wish they had made Johnny Storm and his sister just both black, because then you know it's a black family. I understand they want to do the dynamic of she being adopted, right? They mention it once and that's it.
Not surprising.
You put that thing big in there. It's a big change, and you don't actually dive into it. So you go, all right, this makes sense. I was just kind of like, oh man, you just lost me here. Now, granted, all of them are very good actors, and the material they are working with in this movie, they do a good job of you watching the movie. And this movie just does a lot of setup and setup and setup and setup. I'm like, what are you trying to set up a sequel for, man? You haven't even finished this one. I mean, it's literally how it is. I'll put it this way: if they could somehow save the cast of this movie, interject them in something else that they're doing, just so they can continue with this cast, I would be happy. But whatever came out with Fantastic Four was just is bad. I mean, Rotten Tomato at 10%.
All right. So basically, this just stop.
Is it worse rating than the first two?
It's better. It's still no. It's for some reason it's still better than the first two. Even though,
I think it's going to be better just because the focus is on something slightly more grown up. I really feel that the missteps on the first two were dumbing down Fantastic Four because it's for kids.
Yes.
When kids can handle pretty, mature subject matter, you don't need to make things stupid. I'm really surprised that there wasn't more of an obvious play, because this is Fox, right?
This is Fox, yeah.
Why there wasn't an instant tie-in to the world of X-Men?
What I think here is that the way Fox handled this was they really just took it, because they were trying to be so careful, they took it away from everything else, and didn't, granted I don't like Bryan Singer, but bringing Bryan Singer and the guys who were handling all the X-Men stuff and say, okay, let's try and at least fit it in some way into that universe, so that at least then you kind of go, oh, okay, I get it. So even if it wasn't so well, you at least expecting it to be. Because one of the other things was, the rumors was that Fox and the director decided on doing 3 action sequences, and then right before the movie started, Fox scrapped 2 action sequences and just said, we're doing this, and then they started just changing stuff like down the line. So they tried to make it a very serious movie, and
that's not the property.
And
serious.
it wasn't even that. It was like, you're making it serious. And then Johnny Storm is supposed to be light. I was like, just make him lighthearted enough, right? So I can be like, yeah, that's Johnny. Those fights you get with Johnny and the Thing?
Yeah.
There's a reason Johnny Storm and Peter Parker go so well together.
Yeah, exactly.
It's craziness. Yeah.
Joseph Hampton Jr. says box office mojo Fantastic Four 11.3 million on Friday, which means it's probably going to end around 30 something on the weekend.
Which means no one was looking forward to this. Like, if you're usually bad movies with good hype, usually still get at least 50 to 60 million on a Friday. This just means that no one gave a F.
Yeah,
no one cared.
They did it. I mean, Mission Impossible is the movie to go see.
Mission Impossible was good.
Yes, that was
Jesus. Tom Cruise, Jesus.
That was the amalgamation of every spy movie into one.
Dude, I mean, if you just need someone to run away from explosions for like 2 hours and like do ridiculous stunts like latching themselves to the side of an airplane, that's hot.
Destiny.
No, Mission Impossible was fun. It was a fun.
It was fun.
It was great. It was, and it's good to see Tom Cruise back in that kind of element where you just know that he's gonna do what you expect him to do, and he's doing well. Plus the fact that you know that he's doing all. I mean, he's the Western Jackie Chan. He's the only guy that does his stunts.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
And I love that the climactic finale actually does build on what happens in the film, as opposed to just it being an epic gun battle. Like, no, there is a little care in how the story evolves.
Did you notice how they tied in all the other Mission Impossible movies?
Totally.
Yeah, they actually mentioned the very first heist in the first one of the CIA, and kind of brought all those things back. And I was like, you know what? These guys are actually doing a good job of tying all those things together. And
totally, you can totally see there was some love for the subject matter on that.
Yeah, so it was good to see. It was good to see that. I mean, so basically, if you want to watch something this weekend, excuse me, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation is the movie for you.
Now, the last thing that I'll throw in on Fantastic Four, and this is something that we talked about, I think, in one of the first episodes of the Weekly. I'm worried that when movies like Fantastic Four underperform, that it's starting to reflect an oversaturation in the cinema market for superhero films. And I think companies like Disney, companies like Sony, companies like Fox need to be very careful how they move forward over the next couple of years, because it doesn't take much for a fickle audience to just kind of shrug and give up.
I don't think that. I think that what it is that it's not that I think we hit that oversaturation point a while ago. I think the audience is just smarter now. They know what's good, and they know what look like it's gonna be bad. They know what I want to go see this in theaters versus I'll wait for this to show up on Netflix. And they can look at the Fantastic Four film, which honestly looks like something that should be on like Sci-Fi Channel or something, and figure it out to say, you know what, I can wait until I can see that a little bit later. The previews didn't do any justice. There was no reason in any of those previews to go and see that movie, because the number one thing that they did not promote is that they're a family, and that was the whole point of the Fantastic Four, that they were a family with superpowers. Not one single trailer emphasized that.
But that's kind of the point that I'm making, is now with one misstep, Fox has killed half of their franchise.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
Like, people don't go back. I mean, it only takes a couple underperforming Marvel films for people to kind of say, you know what, I think I'm done.
Well, people will go back if it's made on if they know it's being made
it's
by
a lot
Marvel
harder.
Universe.
It's a lot harder to get someone.
That.
It's a lot harder to get someone to come back than to win someone over in the first place. So once you have that sour taste in your mouth, you're over. You're done.
You're saying, but I think it's more with the Fantastic Four vehicle. I just think no one has figured out how to do it right, and it's so easy to do it right that it's really mind-boggling. No one has actually figured out how to do it right.
It is. To be honest, I think I've said this before. I honestly think it needs to take a Guardians of the Galaxy approach to it. The Guardians of the Galaxy feel more like a family than they do. It needs to take a Guardians of the Galaxy approach to it.
It's The Incredibles. It's the freaking Incredibles.
Pixar got Fantastic Four right.
Yeah.
So much better than Fox has ever been able to.
I mean, the thing about it, I think, is when you look at to Juan's point about the saturation, is that I agree with Warren that I think viewers are getting smarter. Take Ant-Man for example. To me, Ant-Man was cool. It's not my type of movie, but it was well done. So it doesn't matter whether you liked it or not. Like, I can't sit down here and bash Ant-Man. I just don't like those. I think
when you look at Fantastic Four, the first two Fantastic Four films, those are really cynical. Like Warren's point, it's a bunch of guys in suits saying, "Hey, how can we make something dumb for kids?" And I think Ant-Man is the appropriate way that you make a movie that's a little more family friendly.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's how it's made and who it's made, which is an interesting approach when you look at all the studios, right?
Yeah.
You go with Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they go, you know what, we have everything under one umbrella. Kevin Feige is going to plan these things out, and it's under that control. Then you move over to Fox, where it's very disjointed, with only maybe Bryan Singer having that X-Men control, in the producer, I can't remember her name again. And then you go to DC, where DC is Schneider, and DC Warner Brothers likes to do directors. They love their directors, Warner Brothers. So they're doing everything on a director basis, but with this is our general storyline. Each director can play out with it. So
there's at least somewhat of a resemblance of a cognitive universe there.
So I think viewers are getting smarter on understanding comic books to the point where it's like, you know what? Wait, isn't this guy supposed to be? Because once you understand that general, they're like, you know, and they're like, wait a minute, why is it that Fantastic Four looks so like dreary or like there's no family to it, you know, that kind of thing. So I think is if you get the major ones that become bombs, like if your major, Marvel or DC movies, become are just bad, that's when people will kind of step back. But it's smaller things like this,
especially when you look up a movie like that, when you look up Fantastic Four and you look up the parts about Fantastic Four. The reason I'm so into this is this is actually my mom's favorite cartoon. She really loves the Fantastic Four, and the funny thing is
personal.
You guys made my mom disappointed.
She didn't go to see that. I wouldn't know. The funny thing is, when you watch the Fantastic Four, if you look up anything, you most likely will revert back to the '90s cartoon, which is a lot more family friendly.
On a space adventure.
With the stupid.
They got hit by cosmic rays.
And you see
change forever.
How do you turn that dark? How do like they could have used the same logos that like the logos and the outfits and all that stuff look kind of cool from the show, and the way they made the Fantastic Four look. I thought that was kind of cool. They changed it from the sucker to what that was. That looked cool, but it's still.
If the Incredibles had never existed, I almost think that maybe the only way to really do justice to Fantastic Four would to go.
But guys, the thing is that it's not that this movie went dark is the problem. That is actually not the problem, because they started making a family. It's Fox interfering. It's almost like they were trying to make it like the family in all on top of all this pressure, but they stuck together, right? I can understand that storyline, but the editing was so. I mean, dude, if you watch this, Juan, you will watch editing at its worst. Because
now I kind of have to.
Because you will see something happen, like they introducing the character, and you're like, okay, all right, Johnny Storm is like, cut. Wait, okay, maybe we'll get back to it. Wait, and okay, I guess maybe he's not there. Cool, and she is like, cut, and he is like, cut, and oh, okay. The good thing I'll tell you is that the Reed Richards is definitely the smartest man. They pointed that one out clearly at the very beginning. They showed that yes, he is smart, and Doom is also very smart too. So you're like, all right, I'm like, at least one thing was right in this universe. But yeah, that's my review, I guess. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We kind of ran a little long today. I know we haven't been around for a while. Just to let you guys know, there will be no show next week. I am moving out that day, so I'm making my move to the big city, leaving the countryside.
Really.
That's adorable.
I know.
You're adorable.
I'm moving from Boston to New York, so I'll be
leaving me behind. I'm like the only one left here now.
Hey, you're holding the fort. So there won't be no show, but there'll be a show a week after. But till then, what can we expect from everybody next week? We'll start off with you, Warren. Warren says he will tell us what we should expect. One or two things.
What? I said stuff and things.
So that is one or two. All right. How about you, Juan?
So I have my birthday's coming up, and I'm giving out presents to people subscribed to my channel. So there are going to be a whole slate of giveaways. Started yesterday with one of my all-time favorite tablet speaker docks. This is like a little tablet stand that also has like a desktop lamp built into it and a Bluetooth speaker. It's pretty killer. I love it a lot. Today, after this podcast goes live, I'm going to be shooting a video on my giveaway for the HTC One M9, which we spent a little time maybe trashing, but you can do whatever you want with it. The day after tomorrow, we're going to be giving away a whole series of LG VR kits for the G3, and this will be an international giveaway for an LG G3. So be on the lookout for that as well. Every day leading up to my birthday, I've got Steam promo codes for one of my favorite all-time video games, tower defense game. It's amazing. I've got toast skins and cases and covers, and it's all to kind of say thanks to my subscribers and everyone that's been supporting my channel and watching us here on the Weekly. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up over the next week.
Juan's got all kinds of giveaways.
Damn.
It's sweet.
All kinds.
Can you have your birthday every week, man?
I wish. We keep some of this momentum going. I will make my birthday every day if people. I can keep getting my hands on some stuff to give away.
Yeah, and how about
We
you,
have some
Sam?
comments and questions in the QA we should do after the wrap up.
Yeah, we'll do this quickly. Yeah, Sam, no sound, no audio.
We lost Sam.
Okay, I can tell you what Sam is working on. He's working on the NX1. So
Yeah, baby.
I don't know if that's going to hit next week, but it should be coming soon. He's like, not next week. On my end, we just wrapped up our 100K subscriber giveaway, so I have to pick the winners. That video will be up today for the 2 Lenovo gaming laptops and the 2 blue Windows phones. So be 4 winners. 4 winners. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet, you can win. Even you live in Tasmania, doesn't matter. It's okay. And then as for next week, I really don't know because I'm moving to see boxes. Whatever I can put out, I'll put out.
Note 5 stuff.
And Note 5, and then Note 5 stuff, because I'll be there at the Note 5 launch event. So that's pretty much that. We can hear you, Sam. Can you? What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Can you hear me? That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that is that. Now moving on to the Q&A quickly, we have a couple of questions. One from Mr. Andrew Cam. He says, "I'm with Juan. Spider-Man franchise is dead to me because of Spider-Man 3. I'll never give them a second chance." Come on, Andrew.
As long as it's owned by Sony, yeah.
It's been after Andrew
Marvel now.
Garfield. I didn't go back to another Spider-Man film after Spider-Man 3.
Are you gonna go back to another Spider-Man now? He's back in high school.
So here's the only reason why I might go back is how that character is treated during Civil War. But I still don't have faith in Sony delivering us a good Spider-Man film. I have faith in Marvel incorporating Spider-Man into the Avengers storyline.
Yeah, that's my faith. I still haven't seen the second Spider-Man.
Well, you know who's doing the Spider-Man movie, right?
No, who's doing it?
Who's writing it? It's the guys from Civil War. So.
Okay. I mean, again, I still need to see. I mean, in a movie that I will go see, like Civil War, I need to see how that character is handled first before I'm really going to commit my mind share or my money.
We've been burned since Spider-Man 2. We've been burned for 3, and then 4 and 5, whatever they want to call it afterwards. The 2 Andrew Garfield ones. I didn't even see that one. I was like, man, I don't want to see him fight the Cookie Monster. I'm all set.
The rumor is that Kraven might be the villain. So.
Oh,
that's actually kind of cool.
Nice.
That's actually kind of cool.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, but we'll see.
But
We'll see.
I think so much of our news today has been that.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Fantastic Four.
Tag of this hangout. Everyone gets disappointed.
Joseph Hampton Jr. says, "Damn it! All these bad reviews are making me want to see Fantastic
Kinda, yeah, right? Because like, if I know going in that it's gonna be an utter train wreck, I maybe kind of want to watch that.
The train wreck happened.
Yeah.
1+2 is not a step forward enough for me to care about it," says Sean Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I think the media and press coverage after Moto kind of announced their things kind of has been showing that they've kind of.
I also think like after phones like the Zenfone and the Idol 3 and the continued success we've had with sort of
even the Axiom from ZTE, which is priced a little bit more at $449, but I mean all the reviews have said that phone is pretty solid. You know?
So I think it's going to be harder and harder to get into this game if you think that you can like
gimmick
hype
us.
it.
Yeah.
No. I mean like hype it. If you think that you can impress us with some marketing speak, and especially when your marketing team is terrible, it's going to be a lot harder to play that game.
We didn't touch on this when Motorola came in. Yes, they shut them down, but Motorola shut them down because they came up with some pretty amazing hardware. Yeah. You know, the ability to basically take your phone anywhere in the world and get like.
It is
full LTE. Come on, that's pretty nice.
The style is unlocked on every single bandwidth, so which means Verizon now has no goddamn excuse.
No, because they're only going to sell the Droid.
Yeah,
like, they'll carry the Motorola style, the Moto style, but they're only going to push
the
whatever Droid Turbo variant comes out
too. Billy Trey says pretty much here, I guess. I know, my bad. I guess I was to his question about the Xbox, which we...
Yeah, back in the
I guess we answered it.
We're that good, not even knowing what question you asked,
We
answered it.
And Sean Lawrence says, I think he
And he got disappointed because everyone gets disappointed.
That's why I said, yeah, I guess so. Okay, yeah. And Sean Lawrence says, I think HTC's issue is lack of innovation. Yes, that is on point, my friend.
Yes, it is.
It is. So, all right, that is it. There's no more questions on the Q&A or the video, right? I presume.
No, I think we're good. I think we're clear.
All right, cool. All right, don't forget to check out everyone's channel. Signing off with Mr. Warren Bowman at BWone.com. That is the website. Also, check him out on YouTube, BWone.com, Twitter, BWone.com, in Instagram, it is the Real Bowman, right? I believe
Yes.
Real_Bowman, and also Periscope, BWone, and Snapchat.
Forever do one. Snapchat? No, God, no.
Check out Mr. Juan Bagnell from Somegadgetguy. Somegadgetguy.com, Somegadgetguy on YouTube, or Juan Bagnell. Either one search, you will find him there, as well as Somegadgetguy on Twitter, Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram. What else?
Or just search for Some Gadget Guy and you'll find me.
Yes, okay. And you have Mr. Black Iron _man, aka Sam. Sam is not his real name. That is his covert name. That is his real name there, Black Iron _man. That is also his Twitter handle, just in case. He is part of the Booredatwork team. You can find us at Booredatwork also, Booredatwork.com, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope. It's all Booredatwork. Don't forget to subscribe to all the channels. Thank you very much, guys, and always enjoy your entertainment.
Bam.
And where's stop?